Out in Germany against Arsenal, who conceded from a set piece. A bit of their own medicine tonight, but then Noni Madueke won a penalty and Kai Havertz stepped up to score against his former club, and it's all square heading into the second leg. That second leg at the Emirates next week there. And overall, Karen, not the best performance from Arsenal tonight, but do you think they'll be happy bringing that result back to the Emirates next week?
Yeah, of course. I'm confident with them being at home. I was confident before the game, actually, but they were sloppy in possession tonight. In the final third, I thought they were too slow and didn't take the opportunities when there were spaces available. But ultimately, a good team, when you don't play well, you come away with a result and a positive one, and that was what it is. And hopefully now at the Emirates, they'll be a lot stronger and better.
Do you think they looked a bit fatigued, Arsenal, tonight? What was wrong with the performance, Martin? Because the majority of that team was completely different from the team who started in the FA Cup, so they had a rest.
10 changes, and you'd have thought there would have been a bit of freshness. There is the 46th game of the season. You are playing against a Leverkusen side who's quite underrated. You know, the home record there has been outstanding. So if you're sloppy at any point you go behind, it's going to be difficult to get back in. And that was the surprise from an Arsenal point of view. The tempo wasn't moving the ball nearly quick enough, particularly at the start of that second half, and they got punished.
And Leverkusen, they came out at the start of that second half, Karen. They flew out of the blocks and actually could have scored from the kickoff.
Yeah, Leverkusen came out, but Arsenal didn't, and that's where it started. From the kickoff, I threw you, and they went, right, we'll throw this at Arsenal and see what they do. And to be fair,
they've done pretty well with that one.
And unusual from an Arsenal point of view as well. They've only conceded from 4 corners in the Premier League.
It was from the kickoff, they saw that, which is a set piece, and obviously the vulnerabilities around the back post for that corner.
And Everton are probably going to look at that, Martin, and think we're going to do that all day long at the weekends.
That's right. That was an up and under, wasn't it? That incredible kickoff. But there you are. Maybe we look at the Premier League and talk about, don't we, how good we are. But they were looking, the German league were looking and saying, we'll try and play through you. And it certainly worked tonight. And of course, controversial, the fact the goal scorer perhaps shouldn't have been on the pitch still.
Turned him, rolled him, and he's in there. There is a covering defender, but that is 100% a yellow.
Sort of challenge you do not make when you're on a yellow card, so the referee very lenient.
And then Madueke came on. He came on for Bukayo Saka just before the hour mark in that match, Martin, and really did make a positive impact.
Yeah, definitely. Much more dynamic, really going at his defender. And for me, it was a penalty. You had to see it from different angles first, but that left foot definitely gets trapped in from the backside or torso of and we can see there was contact. By the way, what I will say, this took a lot of bottle, because that's the one player who probably had the most to lose in this moment, and he wanted it. And that for me is really impressive. Puts it away emphatically. Too much pace on it for the keeper.
It was against his old team, isn't he? He's been out for a long time with injuries. Yes, he's been coming back, but the pressure to do it against your old team when you're 1-0 down, that's where you are, right? But he also needs that for his confidence as well. So, but fair play to him.
His old team who gave him a plaque before the game, and that's how he repaid them.
That's what you've got to do when you're professional, haven't you?
He did. He dealt with that pressure moment.
Hope he scores another one in the return leg.
Really well, didn't he? Yeah, stepping up. But the man who won that penalty, Noni Madueke, is with Archie Rintut.
Noni came off the bench today, made the difference. How do you see the result overall?
Yeah, of course we came here to try and win, but when you can't win, it's good to draw and not lose. So yeah, we're full confidence going back to the Emirates. Obviously Everton first, and then we're confident that we'll get the job done in London.
What were the final words from Mikel Arteta before he sent you on?
Just go and try and change the game.
You did that with the penalty. It seemed like it was actually the back of Malik Tillman that caught you.
Yeah, no, I don't really know what happened. All I know is I felt contact, go down, penalty, so yeah.
Your belief in Kai when he's standing over that penalty in a place that means so much to him was?
100%. Obviously, I know Kai very well. He's been scoring high-pressure penalties all his career, I think, and it's top composure, top courage for him to step up, and I'm really pleased that he scored, not just for him, but for the team as well.
Can you talk to me about finding the right moment to change the pace of the game? Because you have that ability. How difficult is that to sense the right moment? Yeah,
well, when you come on and your team's losing the game, it kind of gives you that extra impetus, to go and take risks, and because you have to try and change it. But yeah, that's something that I try and work on, when to go slow, when to go fast, and try and mix up as much as possible.
And the overall performance today from the team, how do you sense the mood in the dressing room with it?
Well, when you score in the last minute to draw the game, it's a positive thing. Obviously, there were certain things we could have done much better today, and we know that we're the first to look in the mirror and see where we can be better. But yeah, like I said, to draw in the last minute of the game in a Champions League round of 16 away to a top team, they played very well today. Yeah, it's a positive.
Just finally, can you just let us in there a bit? What exactly do you think could be better next week at home?
Yeah, just our basics. Yeah, on the ball, I feel like we weren't as good as we can be today. In terms of threatening their box, I feel like maybe. But yeah, these are all things that we'll work on, and I'm sure we'll show that in London for sure.
Noni, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
He did change that game when he came on. Was his performance the bright spot tonight?
Yeah, he came on, energy, and he mentioned there about picking the right time, and he was positive. I said before the game I felt the left wing back, the left side was a vulnerability of Leverkusen, and Arsenal perhaps in the first half didn't take that. But when he came on, he was positive. He penetrated into the penalty area and was really positive, so I can't knock him for that. He changed it.
Has he proven now time and time again why Arsenal wanted to sign him?
Without doubt. This is why you roll out that money, and you want, for Saka, we were reliant on him so often, so many occasions, particularly in Europe. But now you can turn to Madueke. He comes on, he gives you that extra performance. He's chomping at the bit really to get on, and you want players that do that, make an impression. He continues to progress and get better and develop, and I think that's a good sign, because you need that. You want competition for places. If even Saka is looking over his shoulder at this young man coming on, then you want that in the group.
Does he deserve to start ahead of Saka at the moment?
No, I think you can. There were other reasons, but I felt on that right hand side. Without Ødegaard, you think about what they've had over the years. Ødegaard would be on there to complement in that three, the structure. You might have had Ben White making runs down the side, Timbers coming inside, and they were doubling up on him. Sometimes three players on him. So it wasn't easy, but obviously Madueke found a way to get through.
What did you make of Saka's performance this evening? Because so often he's the hero for Arsenal, but he wasn't at the races tonight.
No, he wasn't. I wondered, did he have a little bit of a knock or something? Because I also think sometimes you don't play well as a winger, but he's still your captain and he's still your best player. I know you're saying, but there's other people playing for places and fighting for places and competition. But for me, if he's your best player, you don't take him off, because he can produce moments of magic. So it doesn't feel right, whether he's fatigued because he's played so much football. But he wasn't quite himself tonight. He wasn't picking the right moments to take people on, and he was a little bit sloppy in possession, but he's still the captain, he's still the best player, and I'd still rely on him. I'd still give him another start next week.
That's a concern though at this stage of the season.
The thing is, the manager is like spinning plates. The key thing is the manager can recognise it and see that, and on the hour he gets him off and he puts the player on who can do the job, and that will happen between now and the end of the season.
How much did they miss Ødegaard tonight?
Well, a player of that quality, I think he's that connection. And you want him available. You don't want those injuries at this stage of the season. So be welcome back when he's ready.
Well, the manager did make that substitution, and it had the desired effect, with Madueke winning the penalty that earned Arsenal an equaliser tonight. It was a frustrating evening for the Gunners away at the Bay Arena, but they are bringing a draw back to the Emirates for the second leg. We'll hear from Mikel Arteta when we come back.
Madueke. Penalty. Into the corner it went. No celebrate Arsenal, but Arteta's side have found a way to level this.
Arsenal with a 1-1 draw away at Bayer Leverkusen this evening. So it's all square heading into that second leg at the Emirates next week. And Noni Madueke said to TNT Sports at the end of that game, he's absolutely sure that Arsenal will get that job done in the second leg. Karen, how confident are you that they will?
Well, I'm not going to crumble now, Linz. I was so confident before the game. I'm not going to, be overly disappointed by that. They didn't play well, but I still believe the squad depth, and at the Emirates that they'll go through. But of course they've got to improve on their performance, because it wasn't good enough tonight.
What are the main areas of that performance that do need to improve, Martin?
Just the final third, just the connections, how much they were creating. The speed of pass needed to be, the tempo wasn't quite there. And of course, not being sloppy to start the second half was costly, or nearly costly for Arsenal. But I think the progression they've made in the Champions League the last 3 seasons will give them now the experience they need, because they know that You know, they'll need to switch it up a little bit for that home leg, and the atmosphere, I'm sure, will be magnificent. And then you keep that momentum going. Of course, a lot of big games. They've got Bayern Munich at the weekend, Leverkusen. So let's not underestimate that. Let's see how we get on the next one.
And Arsenal, though, have the Carabao Cup final the weekend after that second leg. So actually, this game being all square is the last thing they needed, having to go full intensity in that game, Karen.
Yeah, look, they got pushed, but ultimately they didn't do well enough about keeping the ball. They were sloppy in possession, and the energy wasn't quite right. And obviously you would have liked to have gone in with this with a bit of a cushion. You got Everton there, and then obviously the second leg and that final that you mentioned. But it is what it is. You're in the four competitions. You've got a big squad. You've got to utilise them, and you've got to switch on and have that mentality now. But bad performance tonight, but 1-1 away from home, and you move on.
All these different competitions. Look at those fixtures. You know, Everton away record at the moment is one of the best, if not the best, in the Premier League. Then you're playing Leverkusen again, Man City in an enjoyable cup final, hopefully, and then an FA Cup game as well to boot with Southampton. So it's just relentless shopping list of games, but you've got to be in that zone, and it's important you don't lose these cup games, and that's what they did tonight. They lived to fight another day.
How significant do you think that cup final will be in terms of what Arsenal can achieve for the rest of the season, and in terms of how it can build their confidence for the run-in, or maybe crush it a little bit?
Well, that's it. Confidence and momentum, you know, they're both massive, aren't they? And of course, again, it's against City, which is kind of that mental kind of edge for Arsenal. But, you know, they're in, like I said, they've got a massive squad. They've got the best squad. And yes, it's been a little bit of a blip tonight, but it hasn't overly derailed them, and they've got to go on and move on. And I think again they'll go into that City game really confident, and they should.
How do you think it will play out on Saturday, Martin? Are you pleased that Arsenal have got that opportunity first in the Premier League on Saturday, with Manchester City playing in the late game against West Ham, so Arsenal can extend their lead? Yeah,
I mean, we say David Moyes, you know, they've had a week to prepare for this game. They know what it takes to get results away from home this season. As I say, they've been quite outstanding, but you've got this one you're going to have to go for. It might be the one you look back on and say, because we won this game, we've become champions. So no holding back. You've got to go for it right now. They need a bit more attacking inspiration, do you feel, at the moment, Arsenal?
Yeah, well, just off of tonight's game, obviously they didn't take their opportunities when the spaces were available to them. I thought the energy was a little bit better. Wasn't there. Gyökeres didn't hold the ball up. Martinelli, when he was fullback, was on a yellow card. Keep going and take them on. Saka wasn't himself, and obviously Madueke comes on and changes the game. So I think overall everybody wasn't at the races tonight, and you probably look and go, but I would say as well midfield can be better. So it wasn't a great performance, but you know, we know Arsenal can do better.
OK, well, it's a 1-1 draw tonight for the Gunners. Let's get the post-match reaction now from Mikel Arteta. He's speaking to Archie Rintut.
Mikel, 1-1 in the end. How do you analyse the game?
Well, the game had very different periods. We started the game quite well, had a massive chance with Martinelli. We hit the crossbar. In those moments you score, the game changes completely. We had certain dominance, but we didn't finish enough actions, and that allowed certain counter-attack, especially when we were hitting the box, and they are quite dangerous with that. We wanted to start very strong in the second half, and we've done completely the opposite. Start not paying enough attention on the kickoff, which we already discussed before the match. So then they have a clear header, and after that they score the goal. And then it's obviously game on, and the tide changes completely. So after that we had to stay emotionally very composed. We improved in certain areas. With the changes, I think we improved as well. We had more presence, more threat on the wings, and at the end we found a way to draw the match.
That must have been so frustrating at the start of the second half, because I saw your team go into a huddle. It looked like everyone is preparing to switch on, and then it still just didn't quite happen.
But there are the details. Everybody is so prepared in every action, and we knew that they had certain routines there, because they've done it a few days ago in the Bundesliga 3 times in a row. And we showed those images. But then actually you have to see it and do it. And we haven't done it, and we paid the price for it.
However, football has a funny way of creating these stories, and that it's Kai Havertz who steps up to take that penalty. What were you thinking in that moment?
Well, that's it. That football has a very funny and nice stories as well, and I think it was really impressive the way he took the penalty, how composed he was, and obviously it was a big goal for us.
Must be happy as well with the impact that Noni Madueke had coming off the bench as well.
Yeah, he was really good. Straight away, he changed the rhythm, the dynamic, the threat, and he had a big impact in the results.
And so, Of course, you have Everton at the weekend, but then next week, I'm imagining that you're going to be wanting the Emirates to be burning in terms of with passion and fire.
Yes, that's what we want. We will have to use now the home advantage. The tie is 50-50 at the moment, a lot to do, and we're going to need our people to get our best.
Just one final aspect. Kai Havertz scoring means it's now 11 of you've had 11 different scorers in the past 7 games. Does that matter at all? Does it help morale to have that many of the squad scoring?
We have discussed that recently. The amount of players that are contributing goals and assists, it's unbelievable, and that's the biggest strength because it's more unpredictable and probably more sustainable.
Mikel, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta there. It was interesting hearing him say that they were expecting what Leverkusen did off the kick-off at the start of that second half. They've done it before, and it was just a case, Martin, it seems like the players just weren't switched on to it.
Yeah, the players just switched off, fell asleep, and it's an example you can't afford to do that because you can almost be out of one of these competitions. Now it's straight knockout, so the rules are different. But the manager has to sort of juggle from game to game, competition to competition, and everything's just as big as the next one. So the game at the weekend now is all that matters. It's half time in one competition, but the most important thing is they get 3 points against Everton at the weekend.
Can that end up being a good thing in knockout football, especially in a first leg, the fact that they've had a bit of a wake-up call tonight, maybe?
Yep, they've had warnings. You've heard the manager's annoyed with you because he told you it was going to happen, you didn't wake up. And you've obviously got yourself back into this tie, but it hasn't cost you. So these kind of lessons can wake you up because we saw the games that are coming up. You'd be kicking yourself if it properly cost you. It cost you in the league, or it cost you in the cup final, or in the second leg. So I'm being a bit of a positive Patty tonight in all fronts, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But also positive tonight will be the Bayer Leverkusen team, Martin. They're going to fancy it now, aren't they, coming to the Emirates? The way they played tonight?
Well, we talked at the beginning about it being a young group and you get inconsistency, and maybe that's the best performance we see from them this season because it was a big game and they all delivered. It'd be different though. I can tell you it'd be different in the Emirates with the atmosphere that they have there now. It's pretty special. Things are building. And they'll use that energy to make it a very difficult night for Leverkusen. Obviously, Arsenal are strong favourites going into this one.
Squeaky bum time coming up. Well, a draw for Arsenal. Your face.
For you, maybe.
For you. A draw for Arsenal tonight, but some blockbuster games underway as well in the